I note today that the former Governor-General, Peter Cosgrove, and the Federal Education Minister, Jason Clare, they've launched something that I find really interesting. It's a campaign to have more teachers recognised in the Australia Day Honours System. Now, when I read this statistic today, I couldn't believe it. 3,000 people have been awarded the Order of Australia Medal over the last 3 years, 3,000, but just 11 of those 3,000 were actually teachers. Now, that's a tiny 0.36%. Now, teaching is one of the toughest professions. We all have great regard for our teachers, and I think it's time they receive the recognition they deserve. Now, Tracy Tully worked as a teacher and principal in both primary and high schools for 38 years. She's the State Secretary of the Teachers Professional Association of Queensland and joins me now. That figure, Tracy, staggered me. That's just not acceptable, is it?
No, it isn't, Steve. It's not acceptable. But the reason that that figure exists is because teachers are the silent achievers, the quiet achievers, and they actually provide so much more than what people realise in terms of their workload. So they're always there at school, they work in their own time after school, and they work in school holidays, and they really aren't recognised in terms of the organisations due to their pay for that. So they're workers that don't get overtime, so therefore they're not really valued. It's an expectation. We had a teacher ring us the other day and said that she was directed to work until 6 p.m. in the afternoon, but she couldn't afford the childcare fees to do so. So it's these sorts of things that really make it an issue for our teachers.
I note that as recently as October, there was a study done by Monash University, and that found that 70% of teachers don't believe that the public respect them. I was very surprised to read that. Why do you think that would be the case?
As an ex-principal, I can answer that for you. The reason teachers aren't valued, I suppose, in the community is because they're not recognised on a national level, and we need more of that. So Sir Peter Cosgrove, as the ADF Chief, is doing a great thing launching this program to start lifting the profile of teachers. But one of the reasons their profile is so low is if we look at the global statistics in terms of OECD countries. So for student welfare, Australia is 21 out of 41. That's our report card, 21 out of 41. For quality education, 39 out of 41. And for behaviour management, 70 out of 77. So there's a lot of work that the organisation needs to do to help teachers be better at their jobs.
I think you need to be a special person to be a teacher, and I think you can see if you look hard enough at a young person who's doing year 11, 12, who's going to be a good teacher and who should be attracted to go into teaching. How do we make it more attractive? I mean, particularly for young males, to make teaching a profession for themselves?
So trust and safety is one of the big issues, especially for males. They are extremely nervous in terms of allegations that can be put against them, especially malicious and false allegations. So they are very, very wary, and they have good reason to be. So we need to step up what we do in terms of, for example, in Queensland, the Public Service Act. And the Public Service Act doesn't provide that protection for them. It doesn't provide equitable natural justice for them. So they've lost faith. They've lost faith in the system, and the legislation doesn't support them, and it's an anything goes. And we find a lot of our teachers are being investigated for the slightest issues, so there's no trust.
Well, let's hope this campaign by Peter Cosgrove gets off the ground, and I'd say to anyone watching us, if you've got a teacher teaching in your school and teaching one of your children, why don't you drop a note to the principal and say, what about we nominate them for an Australia Day honour? Tracy, Tully, great to talk to you. Thanks for joining us very much.